My name is Jason Shuko Kazilimani, but more popularly known as Jason Kazilimani Jr. My close relatives won't say Jason, they will say Jason. I'm privileged to lead KPMG in Zambia as a senior partner and CEO. KPMG is a professional services firm that provides audit, tax, and various consulting services. Quite a number of consulting services. In fact, we like to say that the only advice we cannot give is advice on marital disputes, but everything else goes. I'm a chartered accountant in public practice, but when I was at school, I always wanted to be a lawyer. I don't know why. I think it's because I used to enjoy watching. There was a program called Crown Court on TV. People of my generation and older will remember it. But it was a very popular series, and I would enjoy the debates, the thrusts and counter thrusts of the lawyers on both sides. And I was pretty good at debate in school. I was captain of the debate team, chairman of the debating society, etc., etc. I'm introverted, but sometimes I come out like an extrovert. So I wanted to be a lawyer at first. So after my results came out, which were pretty good, grade 12, my father said, "Look, before you make up your mind, I think talk to a few of my friends." So he had me talk to engineers, doctors, lawyers, accountants. But one discussion stood out for me. We were living in Kabwe then, so he arranged for me to have a chat with Mr. Emmanuel Hachipuka, who was then managing director for Zambia Railways. Now, Emmanuel Hachipuka is one of Zambia's first qualified accountants. So I took a long walk from, I don't know whether you know, those of you who know Kabwe, we used to live on a street called Gwembe Road in High Ridge. So I walked all the way from Gwembe Road to the Zambia Railways headquarters, head office, across town. And I remember it was a very hot day. I get to his office. Mr. Chipuka's secretary ushers me in. I found the big man sipping some Coca-Cola, some ice cubes in it. And I was very thirsty. And I thought the secretary would actually offer me some Coke, but they didn't. It's only after, as an afterthought, they brought me a glass of water. Anyway, I digress. So Mr. Chipuka told me about what it takes to be an accountant. And he said, "Look, Jason, I'm an accountant, but I'm actually running a railway company. I deal with engineers, I deal with lawyers, I deal with marketers, I deal with all sorts." And he explained to me what accountants really meant. I did do principles of accounts at secondary school. That's one of my O levels. Did well, got a distinction in that. But then that was one side. It was just the bookkeeping part. But it explained to me that as a chartered accountant, you need to know about information systems, communication, managing human capital. You need to know about the economy. It was very, very broad. You basically become a general manager, as I am, using his words. And that's what convinced me to move away from the path of becoming a lawyer to becoming an accountant. So I applied to ZCCM for a scholarship. I was granted a scholarship to attend the what was then Zambia's premier accountants training institute. This was Accountants Training College in Chingola. And that's where I went. And my career started then. Every break, after every semester there'll be a break lasting anything between 3 months to 6 months. And we would all be placed to work in one of the ZCCM operating divisions then. And I worked at the likes of Nkana Division, Operations Center, Power Division, which is now CEC. And that really gave me and my colleagues real grounding in the basics of accounting. After graduating, I got a job with ZCCM full-time, and I worked for them for a couple of years until our auditors, who happened to be KPMG, Pete Marwick, poached me. It's usually the other way around, people leaving an audit firm going to industry. But this time it was from industry into an audit firm. So I joined KPMG as a semi-senior, basically a trainee in our Kitwe office. Worked there for about 4 years, rose from trainee through to assistant manager, and then went to the UK on a 2-year secondment, the Southampton office of KPMG. That was 1998. And then came back in 2000. When I came back, it was like I came at a time when all the jobs had been allocated to the various managers. So I came back as a senior manager. There was no ready portfolio for me. So I was then sent to, on secondment to Mopane Copper Mines, the Mofulera division, as the head of finance. And I was there for about 4 months. That gave me some valuable insights into mining operations, how to manage a mine, and so on and so forth. 2004, I made partner, became a partner. 2007, I took a sabbatical. I left KPMG Zambia and went to join KPMG Nigeria. And I was in the Lagos office. I joined the financial services practice as an audit partner. And I was there initially, I was there for 2 years. It was extended to 4 years. It was going to be 6 years, but then there was a major reorganization here at KPMG in Zambia. So the global leadership of KPMG asked me to come and lead the new firm that was being set up, the new KPMG that was being set up in 2011. So yeah, I've been with KPMG now for 29 years. Yes, 29, it was 29 years on the 1st of July. But I think one secret to the longevity is that it was not just in one office. I had various experiences in different offices. You know, I was in Kitwe office for 4 years, Southampton for 2 years, Nigeria for over 4 years, and the rest in Lusaka. So it's been varied experience with varied assignments, not just audit, but quite a bit. And even as we speak right now, I'm actually running one of Zambia's biggest receiverships of a major mining entity on the copper belt. So it's been varied experience. What has brought me up to this stage, from trainee through to senior partner? I think it's dedication and hard work. That's key. There's really no other way to do it. You've got to work hard, you've got to apply yourself, and you've got to have that extra passion, that extra thing. Go beyond what is required of you. Go the extra mile. And that's what's required. I think that's the secret to rising up and staying there. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. It's been multifaceted. There's so many factors to consider. The issue of training, engaging with colleagues, engaging with staff, engaging with clients, being open-minded, reading a lot, interacting a lot, accepting to be mentored, whether consciously or unconsciously. For example, I told you the story of me talking to Mr. Chipuka early as an O-level graduate. To me, that was one of an example of great mentorship, because that was mentorship. And even at this stage, that's what I try to do. I try to mentor others, impart into others, sometimes forcefully, sometimes without their knowledge. Sometimes they don't know they're being mentored, but they are being mentored. And from time to time, I do seek counsel from other people senior to me, or some maybe who are even junior to me, but I've got something I can learn from. So I think mentorship is pretty key and should not be ignored. I think the more mentors we have and the more willing mentees we have, the better for the country, the better for the world, the better for everyone. There are various kinds of challenges. You know, as a business leader, first of all, you want to look after your team, and you want your team to be happy. You want to be happy, especially on the basic financials. So that's a key thing. You're always looking at cash flows, because I like to say, and I tell my staff, my team, that cash is king. Cash is the lifeblood of any organization. But for me, that's not really the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge really is dealing with people issues. Okay? The biggest challenge is attracting staff and retaining them. And I think the biggest challenge is accepting that no matter how many you train well and bring them up to leadership, you have to accept that not all of them will stay. And you've got to accept that it's a continuous process. We've had so many bright young stars come in, and I say, I think this guy or this girl is the next managing partner of this firm. And then they leave. You know what they say about high flyers? They tend to fly away. Yeah. So that's I think that's the greatest challenge, because there's a lot of time that's we spend investing in people, first of all in their technical training. That's number one, because you need proper quality. The marketplace will only accept you if you provide quality services. So there's a lot of emphasis placed upon training and coaching. That's number one. Number two is mentoring the staff, taking them through difficult challenges and allowing them to fail in a safe environment, obviously. I mean, you don't want an audit failure or something like that, but you allow them to express their views, to express themselves. But the biggest challenge is actually retaining the staff. Okay, right now we talk about diversity, and our aim, say at KPMG, is to have a 50-50 representation at every level: trainee level, supervisor level, manager level, partner level. At the lower levels, it's fine. That balance is easy to maintain. But when it comes to partner level, that's where the challenge is. If you look at my firm, and if you look at several other firms in the country, the majority of the partners or the leadership are actually male rather than female. I've had females come up in my firm. One became made AD. She was going to make partner. But then for other certain reasons, she decided to leave. I really wanted her to stay, tried to convince her to stay, but she left. So for me, that's a big challenge. And I think the issues that our lady folk face in the marketplace are very different from what the men face, especially in our profession. And that's why some don't stay that long in our profession. And that's something we need to find a way out to balance it out. Because for me, that's still a key imperative, and I really want to make it right. But as I said, you would accept that people will leave, and when they leave, hopefully there'll be good ambassadors of the firm out there. So you're trying to grow leaders within the firm, but you would accept that they're gonna leave. But that's part of being, I think, an apostle in the marketplace, bringing up people and letting them go. Bring up people, let them go. More people come through, let them go. So it's a pyramid. People come in like a factory, they all go. Not everyone stays, and you've got to accept that. But I must say, sometimes it does get frustrating. You think you've nailed it, and then they leave, and then you start all over again. But it's a continuous cycle. I grew up in a library. Our house, my parents' house was a library. My father was a teacher, college lecturer, college principal, and he used to teach English. He used to train teachers in English. So our whole house was full of books. I've inherited those books, and I've bought many more of my own. So yeah, reading is second nature to me. I've read a lot, so it's a tough question. But I think one that, concerning the topic at hand, there's one book which I find very easy to remember, and it's by John C. Maxwell. It's a very short book. I mean, John C. Maxwell has written hundreds of books, well, not hundreds, but several books. It's called Talent is Never Enough, okay? And he talks about, I think, 11 or 12 issues concerning talent, what you need to do to manage your talent. But two stand out for me. One is relationships, and the other one is passion. So the first one on relationships is relationships can either make you or break you, okay? We all have network of friends, networks in the office, network in church or the synagogue or the mosque or wherever, networks in your social life, sporting life, everything. Now, your network is not, I've said this before, I think, somewhere. Your network is not neutral. It's not neutral. It will either be a positive influence on you or a negative influence on you. So you've got to be careful who you have in your circle, the ones you deal with on a regular basis. In the business world, you deal with all types, whether you like it or not. You'll deal with people who are good, you'll deal with people who are bad. That's business. But your conscious network, the one that you consciously create yourself, you've got to be careful. You've got to have people who will help shape you and mold you in a positive way, okay? If you bring in a bunch of time wasters, they'll just waste your time. A bunch of gossips, well, they'll give you some nice stories every once in a while, you know, the latest buzz in town, but does that really build you? No, it doesn't. So you need to be a bit choosy, maybe at the risk of sounding a bit snobbish, but it's not being snobbish. You just need to be choosy. The right word is choosy. You need to be selective. Are these people really building me up? And am I building them up? There are two things here. People in your network, you're also in other people's networks. So the same way that you want your network to help build you up is the same way you should try and build up others in whose networks you fall. Be a positive influence on other people. Because your relationships really matter. Relationships can actually damage you or they can lift you up. That's one. The other one is passion. Okay, I think that the chapter heading is passion ignites your talent. Passion ignites your talent. We are all talented in one way. God has given each one of us a talent, and it's really up to us to have passion to ignite. A lot of people got latent talent. They've got it, but they've got no passion to actually actualize it, okay? And think about, let me take you back to your school days. You know, water boils at, what, is it 100 degrees centigrade? 100 degrees Celsius? That's what brings it to a boil. So you can be operating at 98%, 99 degrees, but you're not getting to the full potential. You're not getting to boiling the water. So that 1 degree is the passion that is required to ignite your talent. Once you ignite your talent, you explode in a positive manner, in a positive way. So yeah, Talent is Never Enough by John C. Maxwell is one book that stands out. There are several others. I've read quite a number from a number of these other guys in the same league. I've also read a lot of fiction, non-fiction, current affairs, history, and all that. Yeah, so there are so many books, but I think this one is easy to remember. And then on the financial side, because this one is free, it's there on the internet. The Richest Man in Babylon is a pretty good book to read. It will teach you financial discipline. And I've always insisted all the young people in my family to download it, read it, and recite to me the principles that you've read there. It's very, very good. It helps you with your key. It talks about basic principles on saving, investing, and stuff like that.